Join me today as we talk a little bit about Dwarven Forge at GenCon 2024. This is the Geek Cabal channel. My name is Bobby, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about Dwarven Forge and their setup at GenCon 2024. I have to apologize. This is a re-recording. Must have had the air conditioning turned up too high or something, because there's a little bit of noise distortion in the first attempt. Not going to lie, I'm learning a hell of a lot about recording videos in a car. I seem to have better luck at the audio here than I do elsewhere. So anyway, that's a problem we're going to be looking into, though. So just to cut to the chase, there's going to be a montage of pictures and videos after my little spiel here. There's a couple things I talked to the folks at the booth about, and I just want to throw those out there before we get to that. So, to the point. I talked to a gentleman at the booth. His name was Tyler. I unfortunately do not remember his last name. And he seemed to be part of the process where they try to determine what they're putting into the Kickstarters or the configurations with the molds or something. And again, I apologize. I know I'm screwing this up here as far as what he does for the company. But he said that he's been trying to make it part of the goal for the upcoming Kickstarters and whatnot to be less expansive. You know, to have the core product, you know, some add-ons, some other stuff, but not to become like the sprawling Leviathan that like Wildlands and some of those became. And part of the reason for that is because, well, number one, it's a quicker turnaround time. Fewer pieces. You can have more configurations, but fewer pieces means the molds are set up differently. Means you have to sculpt fewer pieces. You got to do test runs on fewer pieces. You got to come up with fewer paint schemes. The artist half of the production is much faster because there's less you're making, and so because the manufacturing part's relatively quick from everything I understand. It seems like with this and several other creative endeavors on Kickstarter, where they explain everything, the actual manufacturing is one of the fastest parts, as near as I can tell. So less time it takes to get to that point, the quicker it can be manufactured, the quicker it can be shipped, the quicker it can be fulfilled, the quicker it can be in the web store. Great news for everybody. It just means there's fewer niche pieces, which that kind of sucks. I get it, you know, because there's some really banger pieces out there they've made. But, you know, it's the way it works. So the other part is it changes what you can do as far as like stretch goals and how stretch goals can be structured, because pretty well everyone that was part of Kickstarter 1 and 2 wants a return to that. And what that was every time they hit a milestone in the funding, there would be another piece added to the stretch goal lot, which so long as you spend a certain amount of money, you got one. And I think this is years ago, so I may be misremembering, but I believe it was for every X number of sets you bought or dollars you spent, it was something, you got one of these sets. And I backed for 2 sets, I think, or maybe 3, which, for the record, I was a fool. I should have bought like 10, because that price will never come around again. And those sets still look great. So, yeah, like you see something that's a real deal on Kickstarter, my advice is jump on it, because sooner or later, real world costs are going to catch up. Like I said, I got like 2 or 3 sets, and the bonus pieces were almost another set, practically. In terms of piece count, now there's a variety because there's a bunch of little pieces that weren't in the main sets, just to be like, oh, hey, look what else you can do, kind of stuff, which is nice. Now, it'll never be at that ratio again. I mean, that's just not going to happen. But even if it was a third of that, or even a fourth of that, that's still great. I mean, all the extra crap you'd be getting, you know, I could live with the slight decrease in variety if it were that kind of stretch goals again. But that's me. I'm not one of the big whale spenders, which they've got to take that into consideration because those people do make up a notable chunk of the overall expenditure. And so I get it from a business standpoint. Why you want to cater to them makes sense. Just don't forget the other people too. So he was stating that they want to try to get back to something like that, which means smaller in scale Kickstarters, or I should say smaller in scope, with the hope of not so much smaller in expenditure, because obviously they want to make their millions and millions of dollars. Because again, they're business, totally get it. So yeah, I wish him the best of luck, and I look forward to that happening. Because like we talked about, like the upcoming Hightown, and it may be one of the ones that like they originally had big sprawling plans, and they said that they might just scale it back to focusing on like cathedral type buildings, because there's one kind of wall piece they showed. I think they called it Ashelar. It looked really impressive, and it was the entire reason that I'm like, I've got to get some of these things, which they ended up not putting in at Lowtown because I just don't have a lot of outdoor stuff for above ground. I've got all kinds of dungeons and caves and all that stuff. But outdoor, you start to get really expansive really quickly, and so I didn't really go into it. But I have since bought some buildings, and I did buy some Lowtown stuff. So now they also have their dungeon. I believe it's called Dungeons Reforged. Maybe I'm making a mistake. There's a picture for the thing in here, and I'll try to link to anything relevant in the description. That is, they are basically like reconfiguring some of their dungeon sets, and I believe they're going to be like Dungeon of Doom dungeon pieces. So the columns with the arches, which do look great. But they've also like redesigned some of the corners and things so they fit better with all the options, because they've gone a couple different ways, and so some things don't quite fit right. So it'd be nice to have everything fit right. And some of those are going to be in the older, like original dungeon set style. And then they're also going to have a new paint scheme for that, which I believe they've shown on the website, because I think I've seen it before. And it's like a dark color, not quite black, or maybe it is black, but I don't think it is, with like traces of green through it, so that it looks kind of like what you expect like a sewer maybe to look like. Or like maybe like a spectral kind of design. I like it. I know I saw a few people, if I recall correctly, I saw a few people on the forums that were kind of lukewarm to it, but I like it. It gives it a unique look. So they have that coming, and then with that as the base, they have new dais pieces that have a blue marble look to them, because everyone's wanted them to replicate the white marble, but they said that they would not make that again. Oh wow, that's going to look real great. And so they aren't going to make it. They're not going to go back on their word, which I totally understand. But as someone that backed it, that even got the white marble, I don't give a shit about exclusivity. Like, make more of it. It looks great. But this is a nice compromise. It's a new color. I really liked it. I've got some pictures of it, and maybe in the video, but I think they're definitely in the pictures. And I know I got some pictures of some of the new parts that are coming out. There's also going to be some new configurations to get some of the harder to find parts in, to make it easier to get them, like the golems, both the out like standing and also the ones that go into the wall. There's a configuration that's going to have some of those in it. And they stated that one of their goals is to get some of the harder to find pieces into smaller sets so more people can get them, which is nice. Because we're talking like Dungeon of Doom pieces. I mean, that Kickstarter was years ago. Any kind of high value exclusivity of like things in those, in that end, is long since run its course. So yeah, put them out there for the rest of everyone else to get them. That's very nice. That's one of the reasons why Dwarven Forge is basically the only company, or one of the only 2 or 3 companies that I think are genuinely decent, people, and because they do try to do the right thing by their customers. small company. They've got one focus, and if I were super critical, the only thing would be the fact that stuff's manufactured in China, but unfortunately, like, where else are you going to make it is the problem. So I can't fault them for a situation they didn't design. But no, they're very attentive to customer needs. They definitely take into account feedback from their customers, and they're very, they stick to their word. Like the white marble, like it's costing them, but they're sticking to their word. Or like whenever they swore they'd make a sci-fi set, and they did, and it's great. I just wish I had more money to sink into it when it was on GameFound, I think is where they ran that one. So hopefully whenever it comes to the store, I'll be able to buy some more of it. But yeah, so anyway, that's my spiel. Like I said, I'm going to have pictures and video afterwards here, so stick around for those. I don't know which one I'll do first. Depends on how I feel in the editor, but I'll put a title card up, and I'll try to remember to put, segment the video out here in case you want to see one or the other. So anyway, since I'm not going to do a thing at the outro here, just go ahead and give you my spiel here. Thank you folks for watching. Thanks to everyone that recently helped us cross the 400 subscriber mark, which is all of you 400 subscribers. Thank you very much. And we're going to do a video, more, a bigger video on that soon. Yeah, thanks for that. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Let us know down in the comments. Do you have Dwarven Forge stuff? Do you think it looks fantastic? Do you want some of it? Et cetera, et cetera. What are your thoughts on the whole deal? Are there other terrains that you use? I've got some other stuff that if I get everything set up so I can record videos in an indoor environment where I can display things, I've got like 2 or 3 other Kickstarters worth of stuff I want to show off. And it's other terrain stuff, and I want to show it, compare and contrast to Dwarven Forge, but also show it with Dwarven Forge, because I think these things can all meet together. But anyway, that's it. And here we go into the video and or picture montage with the other one behind it. See you folks somewhere on the other side.
They never actually assemble some
It's a sectional too,
So the bridge could collapse, you never know.
Yeah!
Just
It's my favorite part.
So are these all attached like that? Where they have little metal...
No, so there's some stuff that still does that, but bulk-wise they are right 2 by 2, and there's an anchor magnet. With this is a metal sheet, and then it's wrapped in fabric.
Got it.
It sticks.
It just... Nice.
As you go up in level, thank you. So then, these are also sectional as well, right? So this is our final model. This is what our resin prototypes when we're making our projects have to be. They're just joined by a biscuit joiner. And then even these have
That's crazy.
accessories that you can also...
So when you purchase this, they come as just all separate pieces, and then you have to put them together?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's part of the advantage of it, right? Is that like, okay, cool, if I make a different version of this,
Yeah.
then I can move these roofs to where it actually needs to cover.
like you can use that same set of pieces to build
Yes.
a bunch of
A bunch of different houses, yeah. Instead of just that house.
Yes. And then we also have
I ordered some of them.
double high walls, right? So we, and this is
Hold up.
single high with these spacers. Oh, I can't wait for this stuff to show up.
Now it's on.
I know. I am so ready to be done. Been settling emails even at this convention about it.
I know. It's not like you can even focus on one thing.
No.
You got that, and then you got. And I was doing that from the hotel.
Good. Thank you.
It's like, you gotta get this done.
Yes.
So yeah, it's just been one of those. So, too much stuff going on.
Exactly. I mean, that's what I'm hoping to. Chris and I have been talking about